Silence. Silence. The sounds of silence. The sound of silence can be deafening, particularly if it is coupled with the dreaded look. Anybody in here got the look, that teacher look? You got to. I know you got it. If you don't have it, you need to get it real quick. Yeah. I think they got a sale at Walmart on that look. You better go get one. Or get it from that mentor. Get it from that mentor. Mr. James Wright was my student cooperating teacher at Eau Claire High School in Columbia. You familiar with Eau Claire? Student teacher would get writing down our assignments, just like they do around here. College of Charleston, they put down Wando, Academic Magnet, James Island Charter High. That's where I want to go. How many of you think put down Baptist Hill? Burt. Those are good schools, okay? Dreer, AC Flora, Lower Richland. Those were the places to be, right? That's what I put down. Yeah. I knew my advisor. Give me that. Yeah, okay. Got my assignment. Oh, Claire! Third day. True story. Third day I was there. Mr. James Wright said, I got to go out. I did get to teach U.S. history one time. That was as a student teacher. He said, you got the class. I said, okay, I got to plan that. I got the class for about 15 minutes. Wow. I'm going to teach him everything there is. No! About U.S. history in 15 minutes. Third day. I mean, they're good kids. They're intrinsically motivated. Yeah, this is what we're doing. Okay. 5 minutes after he left, I hear all this noise. I was on the second floor. I looked down there. What is going on? The buses came. The kids were supposed to go to the vocational school, a certain group of them. There is a congregation of kids, and the fists are flying. At this time, all students should exit the building, load your bus, and leave. It was 12, 15 in a day. It was a riot. There was groups that just didn't get along. Here I'm a student teacher. Wow. Boom. Gone. Eau Claire's a good school, good community, still is. But I had to learn from Mr. James Wright, who ended up in retirement as a master principal. Not just a master teacher, he was a master principal. He's one of these ones that the state would assign as a mentor principal. He got assigned to St. John's High School. Anyway, he taught me, among other things, that look. Give him the look, coupled with the silence. What does that tell the student? You aren't arguing with him, are you? You're not arguing with that student. You're giving him that look. Maybe nod the head. And you're going to come back in a second and redirect him. And then the final one. Marcus, told you to stop tapping the pencil. You need to stop tapping the pencil. And you say something like, but I'm bored. Go ahead.
Man, this class is whack. I'm bored.
That's a bummer. That's a bummer. That's an old, that's the old, I said California, but you know, my generation, bummer, bummer. Now, some people, that is not dismissive. That's not dismissive. Understand that. If you know the culture and the saying of that time, bummer is empathetic. Bummer. I understand. I understand what you're saying, because it's the same thing as saying, I understand, but it's, I empathize with you. It's a bummer. Yeah, okay, it might be boring, but it is empathetic. Now, if I said, as a teacher, I don't care, that's not empathetic. That's almost confrontational. So, bummer. Had a teacher recently who said, you know what, some of the kids don't understand that bummer. I mean, we're really showing our age. I'm not that old. Come on. I don't think I ever used bummer before. So, come on. It's in the lexicon of our society now. Can I use something else? Like what? What if I say, that sucks? No. No. Well, how about that stinks?
That's whack.
That's whack, maybe? Okay, but let's stick with bummer, okay? If they don't know it, teach them what bummer means. It is empathetic. Bummer. Those are what are called foggers. You're sending out the fog. What happens when you send out the fog? If you're in the fog, you get disoriented, right? You get off track. This child in your class is not trying to argue with you. This child is trying to A, maybe get attention, B, maybe get sent out of the classroom. Doesn't want to get up and walk out, because if he just gets up and walks out, then that's a serious offense, right? But he wants your permission to leave. He wants your permission. Yeah, but then you're thinking, yeah, but he's going to miss instruction, he's going to have to make it up. Sometimes he will, sometimes he won't. Okay? So you have to set up those situations where you are in command. You are, as we said earlier, the boss, but you're not bossy. Foggers divert an argument. You give a direction, they don't comply, use a fogger. Get them back on track. He's bored. This place is whack. I understand. But how about you get back to work? Stop tapping the pencil. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it later. Okay? You're trying to set up, and you should, that relationship with a child, with your student. We'll talk about it later. Now's not the time to talk about why you're bored. Now's not the time to talk about you don't want to read. We're reading. Okay? At the very least, get your book out and open up. I heard this before Mr. James Wright taught me this. During the Nixon administration. The second one. Seriously. Broken record. I heard that before I ever heard followers. Broken record as a teacher. Say it over and over again. Get your book out. Please get your book out. Come on, get your book out. I'm tired. I understand, but get your book out. And it's not only what you say, but how you say it. Get your book out! I don't want to get my book out. I understand. I understand you. Elevating your voice, making those what could be considered hostile gestures, it's not the way you're showing empathy to the student or trying to give direction. That's not the way to do it. It's, I understand. I see. Uh-huh. Bummer. What if that doesn't work? If you don't get your book out, Kristen, you're going to have to go to the office. Are you giving the child a choice? No. You are, but you're not. That discipline referral, I'll tell you this. Come on. Get a
Water.
Yeah, water. Please. This is another truism I learned a while ago as a teacher. I had another assistant principal tell me this. First time one of my students, who shall remain nameless because he's probably still in Jasper County. Good kid, good guy, young man. No, he's graduated. I know that for a fact. Went in the Army as a matter of fact. But as a ninth grader, this young man, David, I'll say, was, wow. I didn't have the skills at that time. I was only a second-year teacher, and I just had not been taught the skills, even by my mentor, to deal with some of those who really, what he wanted to do was get out of class and roam the halls. Because it took a while to get down to that assistant principal's office. And we didn't have student concern specialists and other people to escort the kids. They'd get out of here, go to the office. That was about a 30-second walk from the classroom I was in that year. It'd take David about 12, 15 minutes to get there. I learned from an assistant principal that year. We sat down and talked about the discipline of girls. He said, you know what? We trying to set up first that relationship with the students, establish that relationship, work that relationship. It's one of firm, fair, and consistent. The relationship, I'm the teacher, I'm the boss, I'm not bossy. Here's my plan, this is what we're going to do today. Let's get to work. We're going to try to make it some fun too, particularly with 8th graders. I taught 8th grade, 8 through 12 school, and I want to teach U.S. history. I want to teach 11th and 12th grade. South Carolina history and world geography, come on. I'm from the state of Florida. I'm not from South Carolina. And the assistant principal looked at me that year and said, son, these kids don't care where you are from. You are teaching this course. You ain't taking it. Here's the book. You better stay one chapter ahead of them. Okay? That's what you got to do. Work that relationship. That's what you're trying to do. And so, what this assistant principal said to me is, those discipline referrals, there's a time and place for them. But the more you use them, the more you lose it. Or lose them, the students, and the more you lose the respect for the students. What are you in there for? You're in there to teach them. You're establishing the fact that you have knowledge that you're passing on to them. So, part of that teaching is also helping them to grow and mature. We've all taken those human growth and development courses, and we should know that kids do some strange things. They do some strange things, even at this excellent school. In the morning, I like to get down to the cafeteria in the morning, because that can be the hub of activity. Don't always do it. And I went down, and just as I was getting ready to open the doors, I heard, just a little more. We got people down there on duty, and I heard, did you get down there? I walk in, and there's some girl up on the table, and it turns out, and this kid, she's a junior, and she's AP, mainly AP, and she's up on, and she's dancing on the table. I want to go, really? Really, Susie? For real? So I go over, by this time they got her to come down. She wasn't going to be armed. Why did you do that? What a brilliant question from a PhD administrator, right? Why did you do that? 38 years of experience, and I guess I just hadn't even got out of first gear that morning. I'm going to ask her that question. Why did you do that? All of 16 years of age. What would you think her answer was? Go ahead, say it, Kenneth.
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, somebody dared me. She said, actually, I don't know. I just felt like dancing. I said, maybe you could have danced on the floor. And then she looked. Guess what? I'm starting the argument, but she wasn't really going to argue with me because she's not that kind of student. She said, well, yeah, I could have, but you asked me why I did it. I said, oh, you're right. You're right. And you told me. So I don't need to go any further. I should have said, I think of myself, I should have said, I understand. I see. Okay. Let's go down to room 120. That's the discipline office, and we'll talk about it. Okay. That's what I should have said. I shook my head and said, we'll talk to you later. But, those are the kind of things. These are teenagers. These are middle school kids. Sometimes they don't know why they did these things. They just did them. Oh, the one thing I didn't ask, what would be another famous line? If I said, why did you do that? And she said, I just felt like doing it. Time and place. Time and place. Let's think about home training. What would you have said? What would...
Do this at home?
Thank you. Do you do this at home? Does your mama let you dance on the table? Don't talk about my mama. Okay. See, it's those simple responses that you can give that may lead down the wrong path. And really, honestly, let's be honest, folks. You as the boss, not being bossy, are leading them down that path. Don't. Why are you arguing with me now? Don't go down that path. So, teenagers, human growth and development courses tell us, in our understanding, that they do things sometimes that they just feel like doing them. The low-level things we can control. So, you have a choice. Either take out your book or go to the office. That's not giving them a choice, because once again, like David, like this young lady, they might say, send me the office. Go.
I
I'll go.
had a student yesterday that pretty much told me that. They knew they were gonna act out.
Mhm.
Ms. Bruton, I'd like to go to the office. And, you know, that will be their thing, cause they figure, well, like you said, you know, how do I get out of this?
Mhm.
So, they are pretty much, in a sense, challenging you.
Yeah.
Send me to the office, get it over and done.
That's the same with the kid too. He said, well, I know you're gonna do two things. You're gonna call my dad or you're gonna send him to the office, so go ahead and do it. I said, it's not Burger King, you're not having it your way today. Back in the wall room, just get in the wall.
But Carol,
My swim coach had that.
I understand.
Poster, or maybe.
I understand you said you really just want to go to the office. I understand that. Understand though, what I have to do is, for the next 40 minutes, is teach you South Carolina history. We're going to, I said from the beginning, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have some exciting activities, and you're going to miss out on those activities, okay? So, I understand you, but let's get back, get your book out, start working on what we did. We're not going to do that for the entire 40 minutes. But you have a concern there. There's something that's bothering you, and this is no time or place, but at the end of the class period, you know what we normally do is we have decompression, or we have a time, last 5 minutes of class, where we get our stuff together.
Depression.
We talk about things that are on your mind. So let's save it for that time, okay? And then maybe you can go to the office. Okay? You try to redirect the student. I shouldn't use the word decompression. I was pulling for a word. It's a time that you will, we'll talk about this in a few minutes too, a time that you allow the last 3 to 5 minutes maybe. For us, that's not too much, and it all depends on how long your class periods are. We got 90-minute classes. One class is 95 minutes. At 4 or 5 periods, 95 minutes. So if you allow, as a teacher, the last 5 minutes of every class to go over and counsel or confer, conference time, that's what I was looking for. It's conference time. You know, the last 5 minutes is conference time. And there's something that's on your mind, and I appreciate that, I understand that. So we're going to take that last 5 minutes, you and me, up in front of the class, and maybe we can get you down to the office, not in a corrective manner. You need to talk to somebody else. So we'll use that last 5 minutes. Some classes, we do have also, we've got 50-minute year-long classes. They're only 50 minutes. Taking out 10% of your time every day may be a little bit much. So we advise teachers maybe 3 minutes. And a lot of those classes, you won't even need that last 3 minutes. Everybody's on track. It might be you need that last. Nothing happened in the class, you say, Carol, give me the last 3 minutes during conference time, okay? And you notice that Carol has been tardy a couple times to class. She's had some absences, even though they're excused. You want to check and see if there's some problems that you can help her with, or she can give you some explanations, okay? You have a choice. That is what we're getting to. You have a choice. Once again, you're trying to dialogue with these students. You're being the boss, but you're not bossy. If you continue to argue, the following will occur. Okay? We're going to get to this in a minute too. It's going to be what your rules are, and this is an example of rules. If you continue that this teacher would have, these are pretty generic, you will be placed on a discipline card for 5 days. We'll explain a little bit what discipline card is. Your parents will be contacted, and then you'll be placed on home school communication for 5 days. For you, it could be a number of things. If you continue to argue with me, then you're going to have lunch detention. Okay? That's what you, public rules, private discipline, you tell a student that, Daniel, if you keep tapping your pencil, I told you to stop. I understand what's going on with you, but if you continue, you have a choice. Stop tapping your pencil, or then we're going to have to go to lunch detention and maybe the discipline card. And the kids know what the discipline card is in this school. Discipline card for our students is let the assistant principal know by way of a log that we keep in a book that you're going to get at the end of the day. Student signs this book, and then the teacher notifies the assistant principal that they can be placed on a discipline card. Or, and what that means is they get a little card, and they have to, every class period, it's a pretty standard thing, every class period starting that next day, got the name of the student, got the teacher's name. For us, it's only 4 classes. Got the teacher's name. Student comes in every day at the end of the period, has the teacher to sign off that that student was there on time. What's the first rule we said about after rules? You establish your rules, clearly stated, clearly posted. What's the next thing?
Consequences.
Not consequences, before it. Positives. Positives. So on a discipline card, what we encourage teachers to do is, all right, they sign the discipline card, teacher signs it, puts down there, good job, great work, asked a lot of questions, put something positive down there. Get those from every one of the teachers, and your goal is, and you tell a kid, your goal is to have 5 consecutive days with perfect attendance, perfect behavior. I'm not talking about good behavior, I'm talking about perfect behavior. Now let's say excellent. Excellent behavior. So, bam, that's what you're looking for. So you give the child, your student, a choice. This is what may happen. Once again, the choice is, you don't say, you either stop tapping pencil or you go out. You're out of this room. Will that stop the pencil tapping?
No.
It might, because he's going to get up and leave the room. So he ain't going to be. No, you want the kid. What is your goal? To teach all the kids the entire 50 minutes, the entire 90 minutes. Once again, and here's the important part, too. You have a choice. Stop tapping your pencil. I'm trying to redirect you. If you don't, this is what's going to happen. This is what you need to do. Thank you, Dan. Turn and walk away. Once again, it's got to be in a calm tone, an even tone. It's not, do you understand? Stop tapping your pencil. You know what's going to happen. Boom. Not only are you being somewhat confrontational, you really have brought more attention to this situation than you want to. Because who else is looking when you're trying to quietly counsel Daniel? Who else is looking? If you've elevated your voice and stopped tapping your pencil, the rest of the class, right? Students ever try to manipulate you? Do they? Of course they do. What did Kristen say earlier? She really doesn't want to read. She doesn't care. I don't care. I don't care. Now they're trying to manipulate you, because that's a challenge to you. That's a challenge to you to get them to care. Sure they care. And of course you could say, yes you care. You're here at school every day. You're here at school every day and you're in my class on time, so you do care. You do care. And what is Kristen going to say? Why is she in school every day? Because my mama make me. Mama make me come to school. She makes me come to school. I got to be here. She wants to be in the class. So once again, don't engage in that kind of argument. I don't care. I understand. I understand. You're picking on me. Ever heard that? You're picking on me. And when a student says that to you, do you say back, I'm not picking on you. I care about you. I require the same thing from you that I require everybody else. I'm not picking on you. Officer, I know I was going 38 in a 25 zone, but everybody else is going 40. Why'd you stop me? As an adult, aren't you saying that same thing? You're picking on me? You're picking on me? Remind me to tell you how someone that I know and love got out of a speeding ticket years ago, and I got this exactly from a friend of hers who laughed about it. Remind me when we break, I'll tell you this. It's just funny. You're picking on me. Wait a minute, back up a minute. We're going to show too, I hope by the end of the day, if I can remember this, we're going to show sometimes when kids say, you're picking on me, you're not really picking on them, but we have data that indicates that where they get that idea. They don't get it just because they're teenagers or they're preteens. That sometimes seems to be what part of their wiring is about. You know, y'all got children? Raise your hand if you got children. Okay? I got 3 grown children. And I literally, I said I turned my phone off because the 23, almost 24 next month year old has the day off, and I heard rumbling going around in the backyard at 5:30 in the morning. I'm not up yet. I said, what is going on? I said, Rob, what are you doing? He said, hooking the boat up. I said, why didn't you tell me before you came on? He said, I'm hooking the boat up, man. He said, I gotta go fishing. I got a day off. I said, it's not even light yet. I'm not a sissy. I ain't no sissy. I gotta catch what do you call it? The early morning bite on top water. I gotta catch the early morning bite on top water. I said, go ahead, son. So I got 3 grown children. I said that one time recently, and a lady said to me, she said, I wish I had 3 children. Now I know this lady a little bit. I thought, didn't say anything. She said, I wish I had 3. I said, really? Why? She said, because I got 5. I wish what is she trying to tell me? It's tough. It's tough rearing children, okay? They will do some strange things. And they have probably said that to you. I remember that dear second daughter I have, who's now married just in October, said to me one time, why are you always picking me, Daddy? Thank you for ruining my life. Because I wouldn't let her go out to John's Island and spend the night at some house where we did not know where it was, but she did. Didn't have any phone numbers, but she did. Didn't know the people, but she did. Yeah, I'm going to let you do that. You're ruining my life. You're always picking on me. Laura could do this. They're almost wired to do that. But we have some data. What we found, we've put this system in this year at James Allen Charter High School just for, this is our first year doing this. This system of classroom management where teachers are empowered, they are the boss, they're not bossy, they're able to de-escalate lower level disturbances, stop arguments before they begin, using those foggers. I heard a kid in the hallway one time, and the bell, it was getting ready to ring out there, bang, ring, and a girl comes out laughing, and the girl's right next to me, she says, girl, you just got fogged. Leave it alone. She ruled you. You got fogged. And these were upper level kids, and the teacher was sitting there, I go on, I look at her, she just smiled. She said, man, it works. I nailed it. So, in using this system, we collected data, and what we found, and we have shared this with the folks from Simmons Education who are using this. We shared this with them, and Dr. Thomas Glanton, who is our advisor, looked at the data and he said, look what you got right here. And we already figured this out, but it was really powerful. He said, I'm looking at this one particular teacher, and I've noticed this in a number of different teachers. You've got fewer referrals compared to last year, because we had comparative data. Compared to last year, this one particular teacher, he said, is down by almost 60% in those low-level referrals that she's doing. But look how many students she has had to refer. It's spread out, almost twice the number of students. So if she referred 4 during a period, now she's referring 8. Does that mean that she's catching more kids? No. She's being firm, fair, and consistent. She's using the foggers. And when those kids the year before say, every time I go in Mr. Marston's class, he writes me up. And we look and say, well, you did something wrong, he did write you up. That's true. But it was only 4 or 5 kids. 4 or 5 kids. Now, everybody enjoys the benefits of foggers, okay? And it then appears that that teacher, in fact they are. Perception is reality. They're more fair than they've been in the past. So, using the foggers, de-escalating arguments and low-level interventions will it'll eliminate that perception. I can't say eliminate, because once again, sometimes kids just feel like you're picking on them. You don't like me. My 3rd grade son has a personality conflict with his teacher. His teacher doesn't like him. I'm gonna pull that one out. I had it for a I had it tacked up in my office for the past 18 years. I redid my office back in February, and I had to put everything in boxes, so I've got that column. I'm gonna pull that and tack it again. I wasn't doing anything. And sometimes they don't realize they're tapping that pencil. Okay? They didn't realize it. It happens that